hello there. Adam Eason here, in lockdown on the south coast of England. Understandably, there's a lot of anxiety and concern around at the moment. And I wanted to offer up a video to help in some practical ways that are simple and can be applied readily right now, today. The coronavirus outbreak, it's rippling across most of the world. The number of infections sadly creeps up, sometimes jumps each day. Here in the UK, as I said, we're on lockdown, and all around the world, social distancing is being imposed, self-isolation is being enforced, events and gatherings have been cancelled. Here, schools are closed for the foreseeable future, plenty of workplaces, retail outlets, gyms. I mean, my gym is closed. I want to go to the gym. Bars, restaurants, offices, they're being closed. The global financial markets are swinging wildly, and you're likely wondering what lies in the future, and you're not alone. And I've probably just made anyone that's watching this so far more anxious as a result of saying all of that. My apologies. Like I said, if you're feeling anxious, you're not alone. Anxiety and fear are what many of us have right now, in one way or another. The fear of losing our job, the fear of our company or businesses falling apart, and above all, the fear that we may be infected with the COVID-19 virus. Many people who are in good health survive this illness. But many are not sure if their immune system's compromised or not. Until we have a vaccine and adequate testing, there isn't a huge amount that we can do except prevention. Stay at home, isolate, keep safe, wash our hands regularly, and when possible, focus on things that bring positivity into our disrupted lives, and seek out some opportunities that might be there for us. If you're suffering from anxiety, as I've already said, know that you're not alone, and know that it's quite normal, quite usual. Anxiety issues are real during these trying times. However, you can mitigate its effect upon your mental health. In my previous video, I was talking about mental health during lockdown. And today I want to speak more specifically about anxiety and fear, because you can accomplish some mental calmness and some peace of mind when you apply yourself effectively. According to the Mental Health Foundation, in partnership with the Institute of Public Health at the University of Cambridge, they discovered that more than 1 in 5 adults in the UK had felt panicked, and 3 in 10 had felt afraid because of the coronavirus. So it's prolific, and that's why it's incredibly important to consider acting now and apply yourself accordingly, so that things don't run out of or run wild, so to speak, which is what our brain is very often inclined to do. There are many things that you can do individually and collectively to tackle and prevent excessive coronavirus anxiety. I'm not going to talk about big, deep, kind of lengthy therapeutic applications, because I want to be able to give tips that are readily available and practical right away for managing the anxiety of that. Regardless of age and health status, there are some specific measures that you can take to manage that kind of anxiety. And there's a number of techniques that will help you feel more in control and reduce your anxiety levels. I think initially and importantly, you want to know the difference between fear and panic. Extreme fear and panic attacks, they are not rational, they are irrational. Panic has an interesting mind-body cycle that can really fool you. When you have a strong fear, the body activates its fight or flight response. It's a built-in mechanism to prepare you to run, hide, or fight a threat. It's a great system because it pumps the blood into areas needed for this defense, and it shuts down systems that aren't required. But unfortunately, when the threat is just imaginary, we have a hard time explaining the unusual changes that occur within the body. And because the threat doesn't go away, we stay in this odd, vexatious state longer than seems natural. And when we don't understand what's going on, we assume there must be something really serious going on, and we worry more, which causes the body to react more. And the cycle continues until we reach panic. Arthur Summers Roche once wrote, "Anxiety is a thin stream of fear trickling through the mind. And if encouraged, it cuts a channel into which all other thoughts are drained. And I think that's really fitting. The best method to overcome this is not always to fight it. You sometimes consider, as counterintuitive and odd as it sounds, welcoming the panic and telling it to hurry up and get over with, so that you can get back to your life. If you fight the fear, it tends to feed it, like some monster in a dream that you're trying to run away from, but your legs aren't working for some reason. Accept it and it will dissipate, acknowledge it. Use the classic term, what goes up must come down, as Albert Ellis would frequently say. And with regards to managing your own anxiety, you want to trust yourself. You've survived a lot, and you'll survive what's coming. There are many credible reasons to be less concerned about your own health, despite worrying statistics. Many do recover. The virus is gonna, if contracted, the virus will give people flu-like symptoms and will leave your system in a couple of weeks, and you can move forwards, ideally with some increased resilience to it. Of course, that's not the case for everybody, and we need to be especially vigilant with the elderly and those with pre-existing health conditions and so on. The right precautions can help ease the risk of contracting the virus and with easing your related anxiety. But, acknowledge your anxious feelings. Open up about your anxieties with someone you trust, perhaps. Being able to vocalize them and have them out is sometimes useful. Whether that's with your family, your friends, your colleagues, or whether you acknowledge your anxious feelings, when you do so, you take an important step forward to feeling better. And ideally consider the people around you and do your best to calm the people around you. People have emotions sort of buried underneath sometimes. Talk to friends and family on a regular basis. Take special care of other people, asking people how they are and ways in which you can help. It means a lot to them. Listen and be there. If you're setting up calls and creating connection, as I spoke about in my previous video, you'll be able to have some contact with other people and make other people's day and help calm them. And it'll be a huge uplifting aspect of them. And very often in helping others do something, it creates a sense of that within ourselves. The mysteries surrounding the coronavirus currently and the absence of a vaccine currently can force us to sort of judge ourselves as helpless and kind of fuels some of the anxiety. Awareness and non-judgmental thinking are amongst some of the most important factors contributing to psychological well-being. Non-judgmental thinking is simply acknowledging the circumstances, acknowledging your own feelings and sensations without engaging in opinions or evaluation. Social media is full of false opinions. It's full of false evaluations. On reading them, you run the risk of becoming judgmental in some way or the other. Instead, engage yourself in forming your own opinions and evaluation on the corona situation. Avoid being judgmental and the anxiety will reduce, and you're likely to develop your resilience much more. As Benjamin Franklin said, do not anticipate trouble or worry about what may never happen. Keep in the sunlight. That can seem a bit hard right now, but most importantly, it's imperative for us not to lose sight of the long-term view right now. Remember, it will pass. There may be a different normal on the other side, as with many events that have impacted upon human life. But we humans, we are amazingly resilient, I've written a lot and I talk a lot about the subject of hope. Napoleon once said, leaders are merchants of hope. And I love that. It's etched inside of my mind. And we must all consider being merchants of hope during this time, spreading hope and reducing collective anxiety. And that may involve us having to change lifestyle a little bit. You know, many people find that some small alterations to lifestyle can reduce anxiety. You know, perhaps introducing some new exercise routines. Exercise is good on so many levels, mentally and physically. If you want to start, you know, physical exercise, there are some free apps online, lots of fitness experts offering free sessions to join in with and get you started. YouTube videos are great too, because they provide simple advice on how to get started, you know, as well as, you know, exercise such as Joe Wicks type things. You know, there are yoga and increased mobility exercises. There are other good ways to exercise and relax at the same time. And you know, because movement is crucial. Any form of physical activity is likely to be useful and helpful, whether that's marching up and down your stairs or doing bear crawls from one end of the room to the other, or even if it's just getting a pen and paper and having a good scribble, can let the stress leave the body. By discharging stress, you're going to quieten the mind and ease the body a little bit. So something I've been getting into a bit recently, that I think is really beneficial. You know, I've been doing with therapy, but it's also, you know, really relevant all day, any day. The concept of a mind sweep. You know, have a go at mind sweeps. They kind of originated in the getting things done method of productivity. However, you can try mind sweeps to calm your mind too. You know, basically you close your eyes and imagine a soft blue light, for example, slowly moving inside of your head, and it's getting brighter and it's spreading and a cool sensation is released by it. Then you start taking longer, deeper breaths. Imagine your worries inside of your mind like shells along a seashore, for example, and the tide comes in and pulls them all out to sea. And you imagine that your mind is left crystal clear, just like clean water. There's many similar ways of doing this. You know, you can set things alight. You can imagine them bubbling up to the surface of the water. So there's a number of very classic ways that mind sweeps are conducted and can be done, just to kind of shed and let go of that and kind of clear your mind. If you know self-hypnosis, then you can do it in conjunction with self-hypnosis. And practice meditation. You know, people who meditate on a daily basis are shown to be able to reduce their anxiety levels. Learn to relax in any situation with just a simple signal, like a deeper breath. If you've never practiced meditation, you can start with a good a guided meditation audio program or a YouTube video. You know, there are good basic meditation techniques that can teach you signals that allow you to relax anytime and anywhere. Amit Ray wrote, you know, if you want to conquer the anxiety of life, live in the moment and live in the breath. So you can use your breath to move stress hormone out of your bloodstream. You know, breathe through your nose as you count to 4, hold for 7 seconds, exhale through your mouth to the count of 8, and repeat that 3 times. You can go and Google the health benefits of the 4-7-8 breathing technique and watch instructional videos on how to do that effectively. Similarly, you know, practicing mindfulness, either in conjunction with meditation or as a separate entity. Mindfulness is quite easy and applicable to so many areas of life, with a really good evidence base to support it. With mindfulness, you learn how to pay close attention to the present moment and see and experience things objectively and clearly. And when you practice mindfulness properly, it'll help dissolve anxiety. It's proven to do so. It can sometimes take a bit of practice, but you'll be rewarded for your patience if you have, you know, a busy mind that's distracting you when you start. You know, as I kind of alluded to earlier, as well as practicing mindfulness or meditation, you can learn and practice self-hypnosis. Do consider downloading the free roadmap that I give away for free. You can Google that, or watch my 20-minute crash course video on my YouTube channel. It can really help. Or you know, for a small amount, you can go and grab a copy of my book, The Science of Self-Hypnosis, and it's got chapters dedicated to using self-hypnosis skills for reducing anxiety and worry. Additionally, consider self-reflecting, reflect upon what it is you are doing, your thoughts, your feelings, and attempt to kind of change the narrative that's occurring within you. Place your adult self in charge by acknowledging that these feelings won't last forever. And hold your vulnerable self with some kindness and compassion. Be kind and compassionate to yourself. No amount of anxiety is going to change the future. There's so much information overflowing from all sorts of sources currently that can create more confusion and anxiety. The coronavirus situation is changing by the minute. Many people are not focused. Show some empathy towards yourself and to those around you. Check that others are okay. Check in with yourself. And as you adjust to this new lifestyle, know that adjustment and that change is natural. Rather than getting too concerned about the future and worrying about it, try to plan for it and adjust your plan, based upon, certain what ifs or contingencies. The biggest cause of fear and anxiety is very often the feeling that we've lost control of our lives, or that someone else is making decisions for us that we may not like, or that is disrupting our life. And the trick is to stay sane when all around you, are losing their sanity. So consider being quite practical and diligent with regards to a plan and a contingency. I've written about it often, and that is to express gratitude. Taking time to contemplate what you're grateful for isn't merely the right thing to do, it also lessens anxiety. It reduces the stress hormone cortisol by 23%, according to research conducted at the University of California by Davis and colleagues. They found that people who worked daily to cultivate an attitude of gratitude experienced improved mood, energy, substantially less anxiety due to lower cortisol levels. Consider being present, as with mindfulness, be in the moment, and then express some gratitude for what you have now. It's a very powerful technique to get the mind to change the state and focus upon some of the positives that you have. On a really practical level, I would consider replacing stimulants, either limiting or restricting your intake of stimulants such as caffeine, smoking, alcohol, sugar can help reduce your anxiety levels. But not just that, limiting them can also boost your quality of sleep, which may well help in the fight against coronavirus as well, in a wide number of different ways, anxiety-wise and so on. Try healthy alternatives, smoothies, caffeine-free teas, stuff which contain, relaxing or anti-inflammatory properties that won't spike your adrenal levels. Getting enough sleep, eating a balanced diet is good for just about every other aspect of your health and well-being, so on. And finally, perhaps consider seeking professional help. Perhaps consider scheduling a session or two with a good psychotherapist or a hypnotherapist who can support and guide you and also teach you how to deal with and overcome anxiety. This can be worth its weight in gold, and learning the skills that are necessary to help with that potentially then equip you for the rest of your life. Even during lockdown, most therapists are able to work online to help you. No one can control how the future is going to unfold, how the coronavirus is going to play out, how the government are going to manage and cope. And you certainly can't magically control your feelings and just eliminate all fear and anxiety. But what you can do is control what you do today, how you choose to lead your behavior. Our inner world is embroiled in an emotional storm, unhelpful thoughts spinning inside of your head, demanding you to drop an anchor like ships at sea to hold the boat steady until the storm passes. I wish you the very best. Try and apply some of these really practical things, which I hope will benefit you. Do subscribe to this channel. I send you my very best wishes. Goodbye for now.